Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk NFL special Super Bowl edition. This is our last show of the year. As I was telling everybody here at the studio, I've been doing this since August and through it all, and people in and out and great prognosticators and having a lot of fun here. I've been here every week, so it's been great. I've loved it, and I'm lucky enough to have Dennis Van back in. Welcome, my good friend.
Thank you.
This is the main man. He's going to tell you why, and how, and who's going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to go through all that. But I want to thank you all for being viewers throughout the year. Again, I've been here since August, and I've had some great handicappers in here. Of course, Dennis has been wonderful, and Dennis is really successful at that. And as you know, I had Mr. Ken Sidley, the Phantom. He was in for a few shows, and I want to give kudos to my main guy, Jack, who was with me most of the year, and some things came up, and he got a bit busy. Hasn't been able to make it of late, but Jack gave out some great winners this year, and he was steady with us and had some steady picks. And Jack, wherever you are, what you're doing these days, you did a great job here. I know our fans want to thank you because a lot of people followed you and put a few as we used to call it, a few coins on your picks. You definitely outdistanced me in handicapping this year, and we want to give you props. We miss you, but here we are, Super Bowl. Dennis, you excited?
Yes, looking forward to it as usual.
Yeah, thanks for being in again. If anybody I wanted in the show this week, it was you.
Thank you.
How's the gambling wars going for you? I know you play hockey a lot, and you've been playing a lot of NBA lately.
Hockey's been fantastic. NBA has been a real struggle this year. I put my head together with you, and you helped me out a bit. Yeah. And that's been wonderful. But said NBA's been a little tough on me this year.
Well, it'll get better. Stick with me.
I will.
What did I tell you? I've hit 15 out of 17 games. And I'm a little different. A lot of people play over-under, parlays. I simply play money line. I simply play the odds. If the odds are 4.5, 5, whatever it is, I take one team or the other, and that's how I play every single game. I'm a bit different than a lot of people. And that leads us into my first question for Dennis. Dennis, how do you play the Super Bowl? Do you play the exotics like a lot of people? I've had a lot of buddies who have played the exotics, and I've been at Super Bowl parties with them, and they won all kinds of money. I've had other people that it was a big bust. This is an opportunity. Everybody likes to bet the Super Bowl, have a little wager, get in a pool. Super Bowl is so popular. How do you play? How do you play the Super Bowl?
Myself, I've never been an exotic bettor. I just will either bet the point spread or the money line occasionally. There are some people, because there's so many prop bets.
Oh, so many prop
bets. And usually the guys that really are in the know, as soon as these prop bets come out, they'll pick about 2 or 3 out of the bunch.
Yeah.
And they'll nail those.
Yeah.
As high as,
So
I think they usually
play
limit those kind of bets to.
I have never played an exotic. And the crazy thing about it, it's so interesting because, who's going to make the first field goal? Who's going to get the first penalty? Who's going to catch the first pass? Who's going to score the first touchdown? Who's going to throw the first interception? Who's going to get the first penalty? Who's going to score first? There are so many exotics. And I'll have friends, they'll have like 30. And they'll put maybe $10, $20 on 30 different picks, and I've seen guys win $5,000, $6,000 just betting exotics that go their way. And I've seen the opposite. But are you tempted to do it, or do you do it?
A few years ago, I don't recall exactly which Super Bowl it was, but the first score of the game was a safety, and I think that was about 200 to 1. It's the only time it's ever. Right? Yeah, well, I guess a couple people did bet on it.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that's ever occurred.
Wow.
So that's the kind of things. The only exotic, I guess, if you even want to call it that, bet that I would look at is in the first quarter. Generally, the teams are a little tentative.
Yeah, everybody's a little tight. Pay attention.
And The total on this game right now is 48.5. I've seen the over/under on the first quarter as low as 7.5.
Really?
There's a place that I use offshore called Bet US. They have it at 9.5 -20. That's probably the best or the highest total that I've seen.
Yeah, that's high.
And I like the under if I was going to make a bet like that.
Yeah.
That's the play I would make.
You know, for our fans that might be interested in playing some, as we call them, exotics, for lack of a better word, strange bets, whatever you want to call them. Give me 5. Give our fans 5, not me 5. Give our fans 5 exotics that you would play. Just 5 of them. That's not.
Well,
a lot.
you could bet on who you think the MVP is going to be.
Okay, MVP is one.
Just to give you an example, Donald for the Rams, he's a monster, and you could bet on how many sacks
Sacks is another.
you
good
think he's going to get,
one. Okay. Sacks by Aaron Donald.
which nothing would surprise me what he could do.
Well, the way they don't, I mean, the way that they give up sacks in Cincinnati, that we'll talk about that later.
Right.
But I mean, what are you going to do to protect that guy? What did the Raiders had? What, 7 sacks against?
No, that was Tennessee had 9.
And they
The
still-
Raiders had 2.
Raiders had 2.
Kansas City only had 1 though.
Yeah,
So
that hurt in the second half.
Yeah.
Give me a couple more.
You could bet on who you think is going to be the MVP. They had a nice article in the Las Vegas Review-Journal about their kicker, McPherson.
Man, that guy is valuable. 5th round draft
Exactly.
pick.
He hasn't missed a field goal in the
People don't
playoffs. He's
draft
11,
kickers, for all you that are knowledgeable.
11
But
for 11.
Man, that guy's a heck of a kicker, and he's got ice water in his veins. He's a young kid, right?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So that's
There's
something
a
you
good
could
one.
bet on.
Yeah.
They've never had a kicker win the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that
good
could be something for you to look at.
That's fun.
And you can bet on how many yards you think the running backs will run for. Not to get ahead of myself, but I really think a lot of these two teams are going to be running the ball. And I think Mixon,
Joe Mixon from Oklahoma.
I think
The
Mixon
star
will,
running back is in what is his name? Samaje PJ.
You know-
P. Ryan, that's his name. P. Ryan. They're both from Oklahoma, and they had a couple of good running backs over there.
I think you might take the over. I don't know exactly what it is, but you might want to take over on his yards because Cincinnati really needs to run the ball to take away the pass rush of the Rams.
Yeah.
So I think that just out of necessity that they're going to have to run the ball
Yeah.
to offset that. And I think the Rams are going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, getting Cam Akers back has been big for them. The kid out of Florida State, he's been good. He put the ball on the ground a couple times against Tampa Bay, which is extraordinary for him because he doesn't do it.
Well, he's got
and then they got Henderson's healthy, their other running back. So, you know, the Rams are ramped up and healthy. So I think both teams are probably healthy. Cincinnati's tight end is hurt, but he proclaims he's going to play. But yeah, these exotics are fun. Where, you know, whatever you play, you play. Everybody has different things. When you said who's going to be the MVP, you know what jumped in my mind first? Odell Beckham. They're gonna double Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is not going to let Cooper Kupp beat them. But I said that last game against the 49ers. I said the 49ers aren't going to let Cooper Kupp beat them. The guy's unbelievable. But OBJ, that's what I thought right off the bat. What came into your mind first?
Burrow.
If
If they win,
it's anybody's guess, you know.
if they win, but I'm trying to remember their second string receiver Higgins.
Higgins, yeah, T. Higgins from Clemson.
Now,
He's a very good receiver.
they're going to be all over Chase.
Oh yeah, well, the last
And
game they were all over Chase.
That could
Kansas City.
leave Higgins open
Well,
more.
Higgins really was the star receiver in the game against Kansas City. Higgins is a great receiver, and they got somebody else that people don't look at, Tyler Boyd, who's their number 3. He's also a great receiver. Cincinnati, they got a problem at tight end because what his name, Uzuma or whatever the kid's name is.
Ozuma.
He's got the bad knee, but I saw him. Just a little sidebar here. I watch all this NFL coverage during the week, and they had a rally in Cincinnati on Monday for the team. And he took his knee brace off and threw it in the crowd. I'm going to play. I'm playing. I'm like, dude, you don't need to throw your knee brace in the crowd, All you need to do is stumble in a hole over there. And, that's kind of childish. But anyways, whatever you do with exotics, have fun with it. A lot of people, it's fun to play them. I know a lot of people that put like 20 different ones for $10 or whatever it is, $5. Just have fun with the game. Enjoy your Super Bowl party, whatever you do. My next question for you is, why are the Rams going to win?
Well, their defense,
Okay.
their front line, their defense is a little different from most teams. They put 5 guys across the front normally.
Yeah.
Not that they're all rushing,
Right. No, but
but they put their
they got some
5
big
guys
dogs on that
across,
defensive line, man.
and obviously they have 3 guys that can really, really rush the passer. So if they're able to sack Burrow like the Rams did, or like Tennessee did, but Burrow still won the game. So
Yeah, but it was a low-scoring game though, and Tennessee was hapless.
So I
They
think
weren't ready to
that
play football.
I really think that if the Rams run the ball like they should do, they have more control of the game that way, and it doesn't put Stafford in a position where he has to be throwing and could make a mistake. I'm not saying that he's occasionally he does make those mistakes.
Yeah.
But it could maybe rein him in a little with that.
Yeah.
Also, they do have a good coach. Both of these coaches are good
Both
coaches.
coaches are good coaches. They know each other well. They coach
yes.
on the same staffs together.
Yes. So, those are the type of things, the defense
In the running game.
and their running game.
And they both have good special teams, so it's not going to be like a Green Bay who, and again, a sidebar, Green Bay, they were the worst in the league on special teams, and it showed in a very big game that they shouldn't have lost.
Well, they have our old
They got
coach.
Pisacci, I was going to say,
Yeah.
who was a special teams guy that was so great, and Rich Pisacci is going to be the special teams guy in Green Bay, and watch that change. And good luck, Rich. You did a great job here. Did a great job here with
Sure
the Raiders,
did.
and I wish you would have got more consideration. And I know the players are going to miss you because they loved you, but kudos to you. You did a great job here for the Raiders. So on the other side of the coin, why is Cincinnati going to win the game? I've asked you why the Rams are going to win, and a great explanation. Why is Cincinnati going to win? We got to play both sides here.
For his age, I haven't seen anybody like Burrow.
Cool. Cool cat.
And,
Swag, they say.
he got sacked 9 times, and they still won the game.
Just kept coming.
That guy is a cool customer. And, he's going to have to throw the ball away a few times on 3rd down. And that's going to be a smart move instead of trying to force it in and get picked, because they are going to rush him.
There's no doubt about that.
But one thing that I admired very much with Cincinnati in their last game against Kansas City, they're losing 21-3.
Yeah, I was sitting there saying it was an embarrassing game, to tell you the truth, when it was like 21-0. It was like, this is embarrassing. They're going to get beat 50-6, And I couldn't believe the second half. And
Well,
you've got to give them so much respect.
That's
Cincinnati.
what
Give
I
them
was
so
saying.
much respect.
They have the ability, obviously, via their coaching staff and players, to make adjustments, because they sure as heck did.
They sure do adjust.
And they did a
It's
great
very
job.
impressive.
Plus, I give them credit. Mahomes and Andy Reid really need to have a long look in the mirror at what happened at the end of that first half. I'm not
It's
saying they would have gotten
unacceptable what happened.
7.
It's unacceptable
but
what happened.
they should have
at the
gotten
end.
at least 3.
No, that was a terrible.
Both of them had their heads in
terrible
their
mistake. I mean,
rear
terrible,
ends.
terrible mistake. And I was surprised because Andy Reid doesn't make many mistakes. He's very well versed in the game of NFL, and that was shocking. And that game might have been over if that would have happened.
And then
Strange
Cincinnati.
strange turnaround. I got to tell you, that's a strange turnaround. I
They just need to limit
think it would ever happen.
their mistakes. If
Yeah.
they don't throw interceptions and don't fumble, I think they have a very good chance. And the other thing is, they always keep these games tight.
Yeah, they hang in there.
This year, they played 6 games during the season against playoff teams. They were 4-2. The 2 games they lost the one game they didn't cover by a half a point. The other game they didn't cover by 1 point.
Yeah.
So they're scrappers. They stay close.
Yeah, and again, you say they're well coached. They play excellent special teams. They're not going to make those mistakes that are going to beat them. I think when you look at it, I think the Rams are more apt to make mistakes than Cincinnati is, and that could be a compelling point for betting on Cincinnati. Which I'm curious, after watching football all year and being so involved in betting on games and having a good year doing that. Who do you think was better this year, the NFC or the AFC? Which division you thought was better? Did you think one was better than the other, or there was an advantage?
I think the NFC was had some real exciting teams. I think San Francisco was a real
They came around once they got
a
healthy.
real neat team to watch
once
this
they got
year.
healthy.
The Rams,
They had a 3-game losing streak, and then after that they haven't lost.
they did a great job.
found their mojo.
Tampa again. Green Bay,
Green Bay,
obviously.
I mean, everybody touted Green, and that's the crazy thing, and that's why I asked you, because all year long, from almost week 1, Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay, and we got fed Green Bay the whole year, and they were going to win the Super Bowl, and what a disappointment at home in the frozen tundra where they were supposed to dominate, and really San Francisco kicked their butts when it was time to win. But you look at the AFCs, the teams like Kansas City and New England. The Tennessees, they were a little bit inconsistent. The
Kansas
Raiders,
City was very inconsistent.
Yeah, there was a lot of inconsistency, and I never thought there was that great AFC team. And despite losing Henry, Tennessee went on and had a good year. But I mean, the way these guys played in the playoffs, it's so compelling to me that week to week, when people are hurt and there's injuries, some of these teams get it together and win, and they're well coached, like a Tennessee with Vrabel. He just signed a new contract, an extension. He deserves it. Their GM also. But I just think the NFC was dominant this year over the AFC, and there's something telling me that it's going to continue. But when you look at the X's and O's, I mean, what is the one thing in that game that stands out? I mean, let's tell our fans right now so we can explain why. Who do you think is going to win, and by how much?
Well,
who's your winner in the Super Bowl?
Generally,
I know you all got yours already.
Whoever wins the game, like we talked about 2 weeks ago in the playoffs, whoever won those 12 games or however many games they played, the point spread only mattered in one game.
Yeah, that's
and that
really
was
an interesting fact.
The last game.
That's a really interesting
The San
fact.
Francisco was getting 3.5,
Yeah.
and they only lost by 3. But
Yeah.
so generally, whoever wins is going to cover the spread. This year is very weird to me because I like Cincinnati because
Okay.
they've stayed
Dennis.
close.
Cincinnati. He's good, folks.
They've stayed close
4.5.
in all their games this year.
And that's a really good point, and,
This
and
year.
that's a great observation.
Now, here's another one for you. In the last 38 games that the Rams have been favorites, they are 27, 10, and 1.
Wow. That's wild.
In that. So they keep,
They stay in games.
yes,
The Rams stay in games.
and their games are I misspoke on that. I'm sorry. Their unders are 27, 10, and 1,
under.
which tells me
The under.
the unders are.
Did you
Sorry.
get that change? The unders.
The unders are 27, 10, and 1 when they're a favorite.
Wow.
So that tells me those games stay close.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a close game.
So
In a close
If
game,
I-
you like Cincinnati.
I do, however, I wouldn't be against maybe betting the Rams on the money line just to win the game
Yeah.
and taking Cincinnati with the points.
Yeah.
I don't make bets like that, so I'm sure I won't. But I would say my play is Cincinnati.
Okay, I like it. His play is Cincinnati. You know, I there's been a prominent thought in my head since we got this matchup, and this has been the thought. Last year, Kansas City lost that Super Bowl game because they couldn't protect Mahomes. That line was a makeshift line. It was not good. They had injuries, and that prevented him from being effective. If you all remember the game last year, Mahomes had no time to throw the football. He was running for his life that whole game, and Tampa Bay dominated and took advantage of it. I believe it's the same kind of situation this year. Cincinnati does not have a good offensive line. They don't have that tight end like a Gronk that's going to crush you and be so involved in the blocking schemes. They don't have that kind of guy to go with that line. I just think that the Rams are healthy. You know, you've got Floyd off of one end. You got Miller on the other end. You got Darnold in the middle. You got three superstars there that are going to make an impact. And I believe they're coming for Burrow. I believe they're coming for Burrow because they are well rested and well prepared. And I think it's going to be akin to last year's game where the Rams' defensive line, front seven, are going to dominate, and Burrow is not going to be able to be effective passing that football. That's how I see it very close to last year's matchup. A problem on that offensive line. If you're giving up all those sacks, come on, man, there's something wrong there. Tennessee isn't that great of a front four. The Rams are much better than that. You're going to be doubling. People always say, the big boy Donald is not that great. He didn't have any. You don't realize they're doubling him every play, tripling him. Sometimes they hit him with two linemen and a running back, and he's not getting there, but somebody else is getting there. I can't help but think that Von Miller is going to have a big game. I'm thinking he's going to be the defensive MVP.
Well, somebody, go ahead.
I think he's going to be the guy. But what I'm saying here is, for me, there's several reasons why the Rams are going to win. First of all, they have an excellent offense. I believe their line will protect well. Cincinnati's a little undersized up front. I really feel strongly about the Rams' running game and their passing game. You just don't need to throw to Cooper Kupp. I mean, Odell Beckham has become a weapon for the Rams. He's got it into the mix. He's not a bad player. He's a very good player. The Higbee's hurt. Again, tight ends on both teams are hurt. It's interesting, but I don't think Higbee's going to play, but the other kid says he's going to play in Cincinnati. But I just think the Rams' defense is going to be the difference maker in this game. Now, what you said earlier, what could change that, and a lot of rebuttal to that, and a lot of people are looking at this saying, well, wait a minute. If Cincinnati can run the football, and the Rams have been vulnerable to the run, how did the 49ers beat the Rams twice this year? by running the football. So, if Cincinnati can run the football, Mixon is a really good running back. He is strong. You never take him down on the first tackle. The first contact, he never goes down. So Mixon, I've been watching him since he was at Oklahoma. Very fine running back. So that's the X factor to me. If Cincinnati can run the football, it's going to be a real good game. If the Rams have their way with the defense, their defense against Cincinnati offense, the way I think the Rams will win by 10 or more.
Well, I think that
Your thoughts? Your thoughts?
Cincinnati, as I said, they need to run the ball.
They have
The
to.
other thing
it's
is
really the key to the game. I don't
they're
think
gonna
Burrow's the
need
key to the game.
Do some misdirection or maybe some short
Yeah,
passes over the middle of their tight end.
It's a good time to do that.
Swing their running backs out.
They like to throw to Mixon.
Things like that. That's going to be very important. But like you said, if they get eaten up, Burrow is sharp. But if they eat him up, I don't know what's going to happen. I think it is going to be very important, and he's so far shown that he has the mind to do this. Don't just throw it away.
Yeah.
Don't throw that interception.
And I think he's cognizant of that.
And I think if they don't get the turnovers,
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep Cincinnati alive.
And you know what the funny thing is? The Rams are more prone to turn over the ball than Cincinnati is. The Rams are, you look at that Tampa Bay game. They had that game won by halftime. They literally tried to give it away, fumbling on the 1 yard line when they should have had another 7. And again, that game would have been over. But you think about the way the Rams went to Tampa Bay and handled Tampa Bay. Who, again, do you think that Cincinnati's front 7 is better than Tampa Bay's? No, it's not. Tampa Bay has two of the best linebackers in football. Two of the best linebackers, 45 and 54, White and Davis. I think that's right. Anyways, I watched too much football. But Tampa Bay got dominated by the Rams offense. And then, of course, they started turning over the ball. Sometimes, to me, the Rams are playing too well for their own good, and they start getting lazy, and they start falling into these doldrums, and they get conservative. And I've seen that. But the Rams beat a very, very good Tampa Bay team in Tampa. That's tough. Because the Brady connection makes things better for a team. Look at the pressure the Rams put on Brady. Brady was not a comfortable quarterback against the Rams.
No, he wasn't.
He was not a comfortable quarterback. Well, the Tampa Bay line is better than the Cincinnati line. So it's like, think about that game, and then you look at the Rams, and they play a very tough 49er team, who all the 49er fans, when the fourth quarter started, I know several 49er fans, and they're texting me and calling me up saying the game's over, 49ers are going to Super Bowl, they're up by 10 in the fourth. I said, hold up. Game's not over yet. Well, who scored the last 13 points? The Rams. And again, put in that position to come back and win. Think about this. Put in that position to come back and win.
Well, I was a little disappointed in how Shanahan handled some of the stuff at the end. I think they could have done a better job with that.
Yeah, but the pressure came.
Not to take credit away from the Rams. I am not comparing the Rams to the old Baltimore Colts when they played against Joe Namath.
Yeah.
But I read some guy say Cincinnati's playing with house money.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody thought
absolutely
they would, even though they were the
I wouldn't
fourth,
have picked Cincinnati, and if they'd give me 10 picks.
Even
they wouldn't have been. Cincinnati would have not been in my top 10 teams when the season started.
Right.
The Rams, as people know because they watched from the beginning, the Rams and Buffalo were my two teams to be in the Super Bowl. Well, I hit one of them right in Buffalo. We know their story.
So I think Cincinnati can have a little of that swagger like the Jets had back then, where they don't have anything to lose.
Yeah, you're right about that. The thing that's interesting about Cincinnati is that when you think about it, when that game was tied with Kansas City and the coin flip came and Kansas City won it, everybody but the Cincinnati players said, okay, Mahomes is going to drive straight down, and Kansas City's going to get a touchdown and win like they did the week before against Buffalo. But Cincinnati didn't believe that, and they got an interception because they were putting pressure on Mahomes. Now, Mahomes played the worst half of football I've ever seen him play.
Yes, he did.
By far, the worst half of football I've ever seen him play. I don't believe you're not going to get a Stafford that plays like that. I think Stafford he's been around so long. He's made his mistakes. He's been with tough teams. It's not been an easy road for him. Now he's on the doorstep of a champion, a Super Bowl champion. And first of all, I wish the guy well. Stafford's a good man, very, very good guy. Stays out of trouble, just a good man. But I don't bet games on people being good people. I bet games on the reality.
You never would have bet on the Raiders your whole life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. In my whole life, Al Davis, Mark Davis. No, I wouldn't have. Good point. But it would not surprise me if Cincinnati wins. But I just think that the areas that the Rams dominate in is where it's going to be won. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell them why I'm wrong so they bet Cincinnati. I say the Rams win by 10 or more. And I'm famous for saying that 10 or more word. I always say that. Going to win by 10 or more.
Well, I think
Kansas City was going to beat Cincinnati by 10 or more.
Or under. But
you think it's going to be what?
If they win,
under 4?
It's going to be under 4, so that's why I think Cincinnati's going to cover. But the Rams, to me, have all the pressure on them. If McVay loses another Super Bowl, it'll be his second loss in 5 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't reflect well on you. I don't mean getting fired, anything like that. But these people are all aware of their legacy.
Oh, of course they are.
And
you know that for sure.
Historically, when a team loses a Super Bowl, it does something to them.
Yeah.
And
in the way they lost, by the way,
you
it was
saw
embarrassing.
Kansas City, how they started this year.
1-3.
And ultimately, they turned it on at the end. But then you saw what happened in this last thing. Who's to blame? I don't know. I'm not in their locker room. I don't know everything. Right. But
it's a touchy game, man.
As I said, Cincinnati, they've been keeping it close. And I just think the relaxation factor, when I used to play golf, I could never relax, and I never was a good player. When I played sports, I was a good baseball player. When I was relaxed, I was wonderful. So I think that has something to do with things. But Fred Biletnikoff used to throw up before every game. So,
well, I really respect your opinions on Cincinnati, and I can see your reasoning. And again, it's the whole thing for me is it's special teams are equal. They have a lot of things that are equal about these teams, but I just think the Rams' offensive line and defensive line are going to dominate in this game, and ultimately, it's won in the trenches, the offensive and defensive line, and of course turnovers have such a huge, huge impact on games. But I just think the Rams are built to win this whole thing. I just think that the Rams, it's their time. I think the Rams, it's going to be very akin to last year's game. The home team playing in front of their home crowd primarily, got to relax at home. It's a big difference when you stay at home and play, and we saw it last year with Tampa. And I think the Rams are going to win the same way that Tampa won. And what do all of you think? We can bat this around and talk about offensive and defensive line and running backs, receivers. We've done all of that. We've kind of gone through the X's and O's of it, and coaches, and I think we've covered most of the years to help you make your decision. Again, Dennis is going to take the 4.5 points in Cincinnati. I'm going to give the 4.5 points and say the Rams are going to win by 10 or more, and I think the Rams will have a big lead at halftime. We'll see what happens. I've been wrong before, as you all know. I've been wrong more than I've been right this year. So maybe that's an angle in itself. The guy that's in charge of the show, Mr. Rick Manarino, I think I've been wrong more than I've been right this year. Thank God for NBA saving me. One thing I do know is NBA, right? That's my game. Well, by the way, our NBA show will start next week. NFL has been a lot of fun, and It's been really fun having you on. But
Thank you.
Any further thoughts before we close it up and let everybody go
couple
do their
things I want to share.
Yeah, share a few
The
more
over-under
trinkets with our team.
is down to 48.5. Both of these teams average 27 points a game. So that's 54. That's a six.
You get that? That's a really good point.
Almost 6 point difference, which gives me pause. But as I had said before, the Rams, when they're favorites, their games tend to go under. So that's one interesting part of it.
That's
the other thing I would recommend to our people that are here in Las Vegas is for the rest of this week, I think up until Saturday, South Point, if you bet on the game, they've cut the juice in half to only minus 0.5. So if you're going to make a big play and they have the line you want, it would certainly be worth it to you to save that money and go to South Point and make your play there.
Did the South Point invite you to their Super Bowl party?
Actually, they didn't. I don't even have an account with South Point.
Kidding. Hey, where are you watching the Super Bowl?
In my own house.
You're going to relax?
Yes.
Is the whole family going to be over, grandkids and kids and all that, or are you just going to...
Me and my girl Sandra, and
all right.
That's it.
Beautiful.
She's
going to be cooking, right?
No, I'll be.
You'll be cooking?
Make something, but...
What are you making for Super Bowl? What are you all making for Super Bowl?
I haven't decided yet, but I don't enjoy going to those big things because I've been at some of them, and either there's some big mouths there.
That's my biggest problem.
Or I'll never forget when New England played Atlanta. I was at a house party, and I think me and my friend were the only people that wanted New England. I left at halftime, and I called my driver, and I had him take me to Smith & Wolenski, and I watched the second half of the game at Smith & Wolenski, and that's when New England came back and won.
You know what's funny about that? That you bring that up and what happened. That's an epic game. I'm at a big Super Bowl party at, I think it was the Mandalay Bay, with a bunch of my friends, and there's a big room. There's going to be 400 or 500 people there. Well, I bet it's split right down the middle. There's 250 New England, 250 Atlanta, and Atlanta fans on this side of the room are just putting it to New England, just razzing them on them. This game is over, and I'm sitting there. I'm not for either team. I'm just sitting there with my friends, I think, who were for Atlanta. I even forget right now. And here comes New England. And this side of the room got so quiet. And then the explosion when the New England people won. And I said, that was one of the funnest times I ever had, because what an incredible finish. Of course, we all know that's history and Tom Brady and his group. But I'm like you. Because I know it so well, and that's all games. I like to sit alone and watch games. I don't need that person that goes to a game once a year telling me what's going on and popping off, like you say, having a few drinks and mouthing off. That's why I don't go to bars and watch games. People will say, let's go to the bar and watch the game. I say, I can't do it. They say, why? Well, inevitably, I'm going to get in a fight.
I think it's fun.
Because I don't like experts that aren't experts, because I am an expert.
I think it's fun to watch the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a whole
with
different animal.
With a big group.
That's a whole different animal. That's a whole different animal. March Madness is fun to watch with the group, and that's really fun. But if you like a World Series game where you're there and one's a Yankee and one's a Dodger, it just gets a little bit aggressive. But anyways, get aggressive on your bets. What are you going to do? Stick with your team, make your play, figure out who you want to bet, who's going to win, who's going to lose. Dennis, thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
It's been fun having you in for this playoffs. It's been great. I'm trying to talk him into coming in and doing NBA with me, and every week he gets a little more bolder about it, but I'm looking for that NBA. If any of you in Vegas want to be my NBA guest, I'm starting NBA next week, or at this point right now, I'm going to be on my own, I guess. You coming in, or I'm on my own next week?
I think you're on your own.
I'm on my own on NBA next week. We start our NBA show. Hey, offers there. Go through Mr. John Stiles at WWDBTV. If you want to come in and be a guest prognosticator for my NBA show next week, I'll be doing NBA every week throughout that season, and it's been fun with the NFL. I mean, I've been so lucky. I've had 3 great guest hosts, and Dennis and Ken Sidley, the Phantom, and Mr. Jack. They've been great, and I want to thank them again. I want to thank you again. Thanks for coming in. Good luck. Enjoy the game. You and Sandra have fun.
Thank you.
And enjoy the game. We hope it's a great game. Whoever wins, whoever loses, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose because there's no ties in the Super Bowl. Thanks for being incredible viewers of the show. Thanks for liking the show. Thanks for sharing the show with your friends. It's been a fun NFL season, but this is our wrap, and good luck to you, and stay safe out there. Keep your family safe. Enjoy the game. Be safe at the game. Don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Thanks for being great viewers throughout this NFL season. God bless you, and thanks again. Thanks, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Mm.